The Power of 10, honoring a decade of transformation. Welcome to the 2020 RedWinged Leadership Awards. This is the 10th anniversary, and on behalf of the class, leaders in the community, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us online. The Albers School of Business, we are doing our part to maintain social distance as part of the COVID-19 response, being socially responsible, and this is where I can sit and meet. First off, we're going to be joined off by Father Steve Sumborg. He's going to talk today about the Seattle U mission and our values, followed by Dean Joe Phillips. He's going to be talking about Seattle University in the community and our leadership.
Of our mission statement is empowering leaders for a just and humane world, and our students are often repeating that back to us as kind of the key purpose of what we're about. And what we believe, it isn't like you add a leadership course on top of the rest of the education, but the very experience of a university like this is a development in leadership. I think a leader is a person who is able to act out of the deepest and truest part of themselves, and from that to sort of entice other people to be aboard on deep values that that person has. So I think it's very different from a sort of a skill or kind of a practice or an exercise or something that you read about. I think it calls for kind of an integrity or authenticity and an awareness of oneself. And when you act from sort of your truth, other people are attracted to that, and you listen to them and they listen to you, and that begins to form leadership. So I think of it as sort of galvanizing people in a magnetic kind of a way from the truth of who you are. I would say trust yourself. I mean, I think that the challenge we have is we think that some special people are leaders and others are not. And I think every single person is able to be a leader because they're able to influence others for the good from who they are in the situation in which they live. So I would say don't think of leadership as something outside of yourself. Begin with where you are and who you are, and if you act out of that, you'll grow in confidence in your own ability to influence others for good, and that'll lead you to maybe larger realms of leadership. But you need to start with yourself.
Well, it's very important for us to support community leaders, whether that's at the university level or at the level of the business school, and the RedWinged Leadership Award is a great example of that. I think the most important reason is we want to have great role models to show our students. So we want to be able to highlight people that are out there doing great things, whether it's in the business community, in the government sector, in the nonprofit sector, so that our students can see them and our students can see that they will be in that place someday themselves. You know, leadership is a very important thing across our campus in terms of the mission. And it's not just any kind of leadership, it's a leadership in service to others. And so that's very distinctive. It's important for us to create leaders like that because in the end, those are the leaders that can go out and get the most done for the community. So you can lead from position, like you can be the dean of the business school, that's one thing, that's easy. But you can lead in all kinds of circumstances, right? You can see that something needs to be addressed, something needs to be dealt with, and you can step up and be part of the solution. You can bring people together to come up with a solution to an important problem that society is wrestling with, or that your organization is wrestling with, or that your neighborhood is wrestling with. So lots of opportunities for leadership.
Thank you, Dean Phillips. Now we have a special treat. Officer James Ritter was last year's first place RedWinged Leadership Awards winner. He's going to speak to us next.
Well, I think the award benefited the Seattle Police Department as an organization, and me personally, in that it recognized, a lot of hard work that's gone into a program that had never been attempted before, where that's the police department leading the way on connecting and protecting and respecting the victims of hate crimes and within the LGBT community and other communities, bringing public awareness to this. And even though we were able to bring a lot of public awareness to it as a department, the mainstream media also helped a great deal doing that, and the RedWinged Award did as well, because that was a recognition from upper education just like we had gotten recognition from other sources too. That was special for me because it was Seattle University that did this and recognized our work as being valuable from an academic standpoint. Those who are in academia know about academia. I'm not from that arena, and so for academia to recognize a police department's efforts was very proud, both as an individual and as a police officer.
What is a red-winged leader? Leaders are often hard to find. Like the red-winged blackbird, looks otherwise like a normal blackbird. However, when it opens its wings and flies, you can clearly see a distinctive red feathering on the underside of its wings. That's kind of like a leader. You don't always see them to begin with, but when you know what to look for, you can find them. This year's Leaders in the Community class has decided to recognize 2 honorees, Andrew Powers from Key Tech Laboratories and Mark Oraski from Veteran Rights.
One of the reasons we founded Key Tech Labs and what it means to us is the ability to pass along the keys to the future. My name is Andrew Powers. I'm one of the co-founders of Key Tech Labs, and we started it as a 501c3 mobile makerspace that brings emerging technologies to underrepresented youth so we can build self-sustainable communities. We're a project-based learning organization, and that's one of our cores. So we're always trying to get it into your hand, get you touching it, because putting this in their hands, doing mathematics or fractions on the spot with a device, it starts making more sense. It starts becoming more relatable. That being said, COVID-19. We're doing online classes. We're setting them up right now to take what our content was, putting it online. And in a sense, we're also going to try to focus on taking not just the content online, we're going to put up education formats on Google and Google Classroom, the FarmBot, the Raspberry Pi, and try to make this almost introductory so that we can get the funds to send them something physical afterwards. This little guy right here is the Raspberry Pi. It's a $35 computer that was specifically made to teach anybody computer science. And the amazing part about it is it's a building block for people to start learning not just one project, but tens of thousands of projects. I think when it comes down to leadership, one of the best examples I've had is my father. He was actually my first baseball coach. And what I always saw him do is lead by action, lead by showing it, lead by actually presenting himself as the first one to do it, which always gave other people a sense of, oh, well, not only is this possible, but this person right in front of me is willing to do it. I definitely still try to lead with being the one, be able to take the first step, even if I don't know how to do it, just to show, and giving other people a platform to take that step and know that it's safe to do so.
One day, I was introduced to a Markovski, who was a ground-pounding infantry sergeant of the Army, and did with tours to Afghanistan and some of the heaviest fighting. Nonetheless, I heard he was an interesting fellow, and they said, "Oh, but he's really intense," you know. So I went down to Olympia, and I got into a vehicle with him because he was going to hand over actually a Mission Continues platoon leader flag, you know. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you doing this for the money?" And I go, "Yeah, for that $400 a month stipend? Absolutely, brother." So instantly it was a check on integrity. And are we doing these things for the right reasons, right? And so that was my introduction to Markovski. We both realized that a lot of the things that we were trying to address were not cutting through the noise and getting to the heart of the matter. And he said, "Hey man, you know, there's something missing here, and we're not initiating our veterans back to their wholeness. We're not getting them barefoot on the ground and basically providing a boot camp back to humanity." And you know, the indigenous cultures and warfighting societies have done this throughout time immemorial. So, hey, come on out. We're doing this thing. What I really appreciated about it was it gets to the heart of the matter, because we refuse to be like a lot of our Vietnam veteran brothers and sisters in the year 2045 for them to stand up in front of people and go, I've never told anybody this. We refuse to let that happen. We initiate, and that is an extremely important word, that resonates, I know, with the veterans here in the audience, right? Being initiated to true identity, purpose, and belonging after military service, period. Because you need to be seen and have places in community where you can lay down what needs to be laid down and seen for all that you have carried. Mark and Dan, to be seen for all that you have carried. When I see the light change in these veterans' eyes and being able to lay down what they're able to lay down out there, which just force multiplies them being more nurturing parents and better business people and partners and husbands and wives, I couldn't go back. We will not let you leave our ceremonies without having fully gotten to what you need to get to, right? It's layered deep down within there. And we will not let you leave without you expressing that you love yourself wholly.
And now we're going to go to our first runner-up, Chris Spahn. Chris Spahn is from Birthday Dreams. I personally was on the board of Birthday Dreams prior to starting my MBA at Seattle U, and I can tell you firsthand the fantastic work that the people at Birthday Dreams does under Chris Spahn's leadership.
Birthday Dreams is a grassroots nonprofit that we started 11 years ago. My friend Shannon Avery and I had the idea to try and do something that was all about homeless children. There are tons of wonderful organizations out there that help with housing and food and help homeless people find jobs. But we want to do something specifically for the kids. Our mission is to bring hope and joy and a sense of self-worth to homeless children by making sure they have a birthday party and that they're celebrated on their special day. For me, leadership is about being a leader and leading and not necessarily micromanaging. In order to do that, you just have to make sure that you have the right people with the right skills and the right job. So I think it's really important to be able to identify who those people are that can do those different skills, and also helping them to advance their skills. It's all about the smiles. If we can bring a smile of joy, a day of happiness, a couple of weeks of anticipation and the joy of the afterglow of the birthday party, if we could bring that to kids, it is well worth it.
The 2020 Leaders in the Community class has selected Robert Smiley from the Hand Up Project to be this year's first place award winner.
I have a past that isn't very admirable. I was not a kind person. I was not a loving or caring person. And I got addicted to narcotics, and for 22 years, and I tried to stop. And the only way I was able to find a way to stop was by complete abstinence and filling my time with something other than the negative. And what that looked like is I had to be honest. I had to help people that I couldn't have an opinion. If somebody needed help, I needed to help. A lot of people don't understand why those homeless addicts might be doing what they're doing. It may not make sense to them. My discovery is it doesn't really need to. I need it to make sense to the person that's living out there doing the addiction. And I find the best people that might be able to give them information is somebody that recovered from that situation. I started asking them to do the same program that I was doing. And that was reaching out and finding other people that were like them, homeless addicts or alcoholics, and walking them through the process, driving them to detox and treatment. And when they come out, being there and working the program just like we did. And also in that process, we found that people were out in encampments more and more and more. But the encampments were just destroying the community. So what we started doing is we started going into the community. We'd offer assistance. We'd get people into detox and treatment. We'd drive them to get their driver's license, anything and everything we had to do to help them through it. And then we'd go back several months later with a bunch of other recovering addicts, and we'd go in there and we'd clean up all the garbage. We'd remove all the tents and all the garbage and cut out the underbrush, trim the trees up. And it gave us a sense of purpose because we realized this is what we intended to do to our community. And by reaching out and being there for other people in our community that might be suffering from this, or having people that are suffering from it in their family, we found that when they see what they actually did, it strengthens their bond with trying to maintain a different life. I might be a leader for somebody else, but in turn, they're a leader for me. I never know where I'm going to get the solution to whatever situation I'm trying to get through. It might be somebody that just has a couple weeks. It might be somebody that has 10 years. I just always have to be open to the message from whoever's giving it. I have to be an example, and good or bad. Sometimes I make choices that aren't the smartest choices. And I have people around me that'll say, Robert, really? And it gives me an opportunity to back up and remember that I am not the hierarchy. I'm just another member trying to stay sober, trying to help my community, trying to help other people for no other reason than it's the right thing to do. With us now, especially now with the reputation we have on the streets, that once we say we're in. I don't care how many times somebody fails. I care about how many times somebody comes back. You know, as long as they don't give up, I won't.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed all of that. It's definitely been different trying to get this done online. I want to give a big, huge congratulations to all of our award winners. It was certainly a fun time for the class to come together and choose which organization and which individuals to represent. I want to thank Randy, our professor this quarter. I want to thank Jay Shepard, our project general manager, and all of the different classmates and class members from the Leaders in the Community class of 2020. If you do get to do it next year in the ballroom, make sure you save me a seat because I'll be there.